Okay. Yeah?
Alright, yeah.
Alright. Alright, good morning. My name is...
Sorry,
Sorry.
start again.
Okay, no problem. Good morning. My name is Trisha. I'm the global head for the research center at Pharma Caring. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
my name is Sharad, and this is my colleague Arun. We're from Super
Hi.
Pharma.
Hi. And so what do you do at Super Pharma?
Let's say with the VP sales.
Alright, okay. Interesting. So we have a very interesting proposal here in front of us.
Yeah.
Sin and dividing fruits.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about your company, what you're expecting, probably why you need the fruits, etc. Like maybe we can come up to some understanding of what's happening here.
Okay. So our company, we've been working with the government over the last 10-15 years,
Okay.
trying to come up with a cure for Alzheimer's via the fruit.
Alzheimer's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We already applied for a patent. I'm sure you or rather you might know because the patent office, all the information is public domain. So we applied for a patent and we hope to get that soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
On the use of this fruit for this purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we would want more of the fruits now. We've got also the process to isolate the fruit and then commercialize it. So that's a bit of our background, where we're coming from. It would be interesting to hear your perspective. Are you looking at the similar kind of use case or different use case?
So, Mom, I'm the head for the cancer research department at Pharma Caring, and we are the world leader in cancer research, as you guys are probably already aware of. So similar to you, we've also found that we've been able to find this specific chemical compound, which is through which we can actually isolate the compounds required to actually cure leukemia. So it's taken a while. It's taken 10 years, similar to you guys, but it's taken us 10 years. But we are able to officially find a cure for leukemia. And as you can understand, this is a major big breakthrough for us.
Absolutely.
We've also applied for the patent, and it has been the process has already begun. We are, however, in our phase 3 trials. So we need the compound. We basically need the fruits to create the compound, and we're going to start official clinical trials on actual cancer patients.
Yeah, so is our case. Our clinical trials have already been successful, and we're just going to start the production process now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to production soon, which is why we need the compound.
We got the certification from the Food and Health authorities as well.
Okay.
So it's just about getting a compound and going into production.
And will you be synthesizing this, or are you just going directly for the fruits?
No, so we filed 2 different patents. So we've synthesized one is for synthesizing the compound, and the second one is for the use of the compound. So both of the patents we've already filed them. As far as clinical trials, so we're through with that phase, and now we're just going to go into production soon.
All right.
Yeah.
And how far away are you from creating far away from synthesizing this?
No, so we've already synthesized. I mean, our trials have already been successful in synthesizing the compound.
No, I meant the compound which you will obtain from the fruit.
Yes.
Have you already found a synthetic replacement for it? That's what I was trying to ask you.
I'm sorry. Can you be a bit more clear about what you're trying to say?
So sorry, I think I understood your question wrong. When you said you found a synthetic compound, I figured that you've already found a replacement for this fruit. Like you're in the process of finding a replacement for this fruit, so that you can manufacture this internally, not actually keep extracting the fruit.
Oh, that way.
Yes.
All right. No, we haven't yet.
Okay.
We haven't yet, and that's not part of our focus as of now. We understand the fruit should be sufficient in terms of supply for the foreseeable future, at least for the next few years. On the research side, we might look at that, but we're not looking at synthesizing it So yeah, that's why getting a compound for us would be quite important.
And how much do you need?
I mean, we need the full 10,000. I mean, if you look at the market demand, then 10,000 full fruits is what we need for the actual to satisfy the market demand at present. So,
All right. So basically, what I need at this point is also for us, because what we need the fruits for is to give to this the compound which we obtain is basically from a bird, the toucan bird, which lays this egg, and it's only when he eats this fruit can he produce the egg with this compound.
Okay.
And that is what we need in order to cure leukemia.
All right.
So unless the toucan doesn't eat this fruit, he doesn't hatch the egg with the compound, and we are unable to obtain the compound.
Help me understand this. If the bird is eating the fruit, then the bird needs the fruit to be. It should be a live fruit, right? On the trees, growing on the trees. I mean, why does your company need the fruit in storage to feed the bird? I mean, how does it work exactly? Just want to understand the process.
And just to build on that question, is there a specific compound within the fruit that the bird needs to eat? I'm just trying to think of a situation where there might be like a number of different compounds and we extract one, and then if the remnants of the fruit are enough for the bird, then maybe we can share the fruit, right?
I find it quite sorry, but I find it a little interesting that if you're already like I don't know how you plan to extract something from the fruit, and then will it be fresh enough for the
I don't know, that's what we're trying to understand.
Just trying to grab, exactly.
It's basically that there's this the fruit itself is basically what we're able to. I am unable to give you the exact details at this point, but it's basically when the bird eats this fruit. It's as simple as that. As soon as bird eats this fruit, the nutrients in this fruit allow it to create a certain compound in its eggs, which actually make the person who eats this egg immune to getting leukemia. So this compound is what we need to use and synthesize and cure patients.
Our compound directly comes from the fruit.
From the fruit.
Yes.
All right. So all right. Well, what we are also looking into. So what else we're looking into at this point is we are in the process of actually creating a synthetic substitute for the fruit, because we understand we cannot be completely reliant on the supply and demand of this fruit. And we're just a few years away from. I mean, we need a couple of years, obviously, to come up with this synthetic substitute. After which we hope to not be reliant on the fruit at all.
Okay. So in terms of the quantity of fruit, do you have any number in mind? Like what exactly is the number that? What is the requirement for you at present?
So again, because it's basically we need these birds to be eating the fruit.
Yeah.
If we get anything, if we get a little too less, it's not a sufficient diet for the birds. In which case, the eggs will not contain.
So what is the like we said? So for us, if the market demand is the entire 10,000 fruits.
Same thing as for us.
Okay, so it's
the entire 10,000. Yes. So the thing I was trying to understand is that since we are looking to actively find a substitute. I was trying to see if we are able to negotiate that we are able to get a majority of the fruits for the first 2 years. From the third year onwards, we should be able to have a synthetic replacement. In which case, we will no longer be requiring the fruits. In fact, we can even actually be selling these fruits to whoever may need it.
Yeah, so I completely understand your point, but then the thing is that why for us having less than anything less than 10,000 is a problem, because as I mentioned, we've already reached the stage where we need to get into production of the actual medicines for the for curing the disease, and since we need the entire amount, I think anything short of 10,000 is a problem for us. So if you talk about especially if you talk about like a majority being given to you, that becomes even more of a problem for us.
Okay.
So
Okay, then how
I
much?
see your point. Like after 2 years, you will not even need the fruit, so we
Yes.
can definitely come to an arrangement for what is to be done after these 2 years,
Yes.
or we can think of a deal in which case it's mutually beneficial. But for the first 2 years, giving away more than giving you a majority, anything short of 10,000, as I said, is itself too less for us. So giving you a majority becomes even bigger of a problem, even a bigger problem.
Alright. And how much at this point are you able to pay for these fruits per fruit?
We're not at liberty to disclose that amount, but I would suffice it to say that it's enough.
Yeah, I mean, considering that we are kind of dependent on the fruit, because we're not looking for an alternative at this point, synthetic alternative. We have quite a significant amount, sum for the bidding if required. But I mean, that would be like a downward spiral for both of us if we get into the bidding with the government and stuff. So it's better for both of us if we come to like a mutually beneficial arrangement here.
So what do you propose?
I mean,
Because here I'm just aware because we are clearly trying to save lives here. It's
all of us are. So I mean, we completely understand. It's not like you can say one disease is more important than the other, or so let's not get into that because we understand leukemia is just like Alzheimer's, leukemia again. So it's like we cannot really get into the discussion of which disease is more harmful or anything of such sort. So everyone's trying to save lives here. So which is why we also are not really in favor of getting into a bidding war or trying to, because it's not just a win for us, it's a loss for the public if you look at it.
So as I mentioned, what do you propose?
There's one small detail in the case that I can't completely remember. So I just want to look it up. Just give me 1 minute. On the production.
Unless it should be in your email. Just search for Nego. Yeah, Nego submission before this. No, not even this. No, go further down. Not even
The
the
first
first
one.
one. Case here. Yes.
So since you said you've already finished your clinical trials, are you now just looking to start manufacturing, or like what stage
Yes,
are you
we're
in?
at the production stage as of now. So we need the fruit for production. So I mean, how about?
But if you're
Yeah.
just entering the market, isn't there a possibility that you can, start small and slowly, like gradually increase? Like, isn't there a possibility that you can start a little small and gradually increase? So, for example, if by year 3 I no longer need these fruits, you can take the entire 10,000. But initially, for the gradual stages, so that we can come to, a collaborative situation where we can have enough fruits that we can actually create a synthetic version for it, as well as do the clinical trials, which is imperative because we've also put in our patent, so we can't sit and wait anymore.
Absolutely.
At the same time, slowly kind of like maybe we will slowly phase out in the sense that once we start having the synthesized version of the compound needed, we will no longer need either the birds nor the.
So you say you're 2 years away from it.
We're about two years away.
So how about we equally divide the compound for the first 2 years and then once you've developed the synthetic compound in 2 years, then we can just...
Equally dividing it will not be enough for us to actually extract enough, because we will not be able to feed the birds. We can't,
That's the thing.
we can't starve the birds.
That's the thing. So I mean, as I said, so we need the entire batch as well. So anything. So if even if we agree to a 5,000 split with you, even in that case, we're cutting off half the demand. So, and as I said, you're still in the clinical trial process. We've already done with the clinical trials. The product is successful. We know for a fact that it is curing the customers, and we're just going to mass development stage. So for us, it's even more critical to actually come out with the get as much product as possible. So even coming down to a 50-50 split is compromising way too much on our part, because
and even the government has been pushing us to get this out as soon as possible, because as I told you, we've been working with the government for the last 10 years.
15 years
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. And staggering the supply into the market will just ensure, it'll lead to an increase in prices, because as you know, demand for both for leukemia as well as drug for Alzheimer's is quite high. It's driven by the market demand. So we don't want to reduce the supply even in the first few years. However, considering both of us are doing something which is beneficial for society, 50-50 is the thing that really comes to mind.
I think at this point it's difficult for me to say okay for 5,000, very honestly, because it will put the entire trial on hold, and I don't know for how long, because you will require this, for an unlimited amount of time. However, I only need it for a few years, after which...
So what is your... What is your...
So my proposal is that if you are willing for the first 2 years to give us a majority share...
What do you mean by majority?
About 8,000. About 8,000, at least for the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Enough so that we can work on creating a synthetic version, after which we will no longer need this. I think if looking at it from a long-term perspective, it is a lot more beneficial even for you, because you are able to, I think, create a very strong market base for yourself with this medicine which you're coming out with. And at the same time, as your market share increases, you will also have a bigger share of the fruits, and eventually you can take the entire share. We're not looking to keep the entire share of fruits long term.
2,000 doesn't work for us.
See, the thing is, the patent that we applied for in this industry, the patent is for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we reduce our sales for a year or two in that 10-year period, that means that we are cutting down on our own profits, our own sales, right? Because we are reducing the supply to the market in that period of the patent where no one else can sell this drug, right? If this were to happen after the 10-year period of patent off license period, then it would be fine, because there would be market forces in play. But right now, if we have to reduce our share, reduce the overall market, if it's so critical for you, I don't know if we can come to an arrangement where you can make good our loss, and then we can maybe give you we can have like an 8,000, 2,000 split. Because at this point, it will be difficult for us in the license period to reduce sales, considering the amount of money that we've pumped into research. And that's something that you would appreciate as well, because that's what you're doing also.
Yeah. And how much are you looking at in terms of this amount that you're looking at? How much are you looking at in terms of, if you're asking us to compensate for your sales, which I honestly don't see it actually happening, but I would like to at least appreciate and understand what it is that you are looking at. Like, how much in terms of sales would you be losing?
We'll have to go back and calculate, but off the top of my head, what we can say is, if the fair split were to be 5,000, 5,000, and we give you 3,000 more, so it'll be 3,000 into the profit per unit of medicine that we were going to make. That profit, I don't know as of now, but that would be broadly the calculation. I don't have the data to give you a number right now.
See, let's not get into the monetary compensation.
Yes, that's what I was thinking about that.
Let's not get into that point. As we mentioned, that anything less than 10,000 is a problem for us. So I think the fairest and which is mutually beneficial that we can come to is 50-50. But then 80-20 is absolutely a non-negotiable. That's not something that we can come to in any case, and which will leave us with no option but to Because 80-20 is just like asking way too much, and honestly speaking, it leaves us with no option but to get off the table. Yes, Lou.
Alright. I think I need to put it down to a monetary value at this point. Because if not, it will reach a bid. And
what is your best solution? As I said, so 80-20 is not a negotiable case for us. So what is?
All right. So as
what's
I mentioned,
is there a counter proposal that you have?
All right. So since the government is willing to sell these fruits for about 4,000 euros per fruit.
That's the minimum bid, yes.
That's the minimum bid. So if I understand correctly, if it goes into the bidding phase tomorrow, we will be both bidding a lot more than the 4,000, right?
More than the base price.
So, I would be willing to go up to about, say 6,000 euros for each fruit. If you're able to match that or exceed that, maybe we can come to some kind of negotiation on.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. What
so I'm saying that I will be willing to spend 6,000 euros per fruit. 4,000.
Spend it when, as in?
For the fruit.
As in the auction or
no, in general. Yes,
okay.
all right. So I will be willing to spend even 6,000 per fruit in order to obtain the fruit.
Okay, so you're saying that if we give up 3,000 of them and then we split it into 8,000, 2,000, then for those 3,000 extra you'll be willing to give us 6,000.
Yes.
See, as I said, I mean, it's difficult for us to actually come to a monetary value of each fruit at this point of time because we're not at liberty to say that what will be, what kind of sales or anything that we will be losing. So I'm not really sure how we can put a number to it and say that.
But then, because we need to come to some kind of closure. Because if this goes to the bidding thing, there's no way to determine how much the government will allocate for you and allocate for me. And it may work in your favor, but there's a 50% chance that it will work against you. So I'm trying to come to an understanding here. See, as in terms of, utility-wise, I think we can both appreciate that both are equally important. So we can't come to an agreement there.
Which is why we're trying to come to an agreement of equally splitting the fruits.
Equally splitting, unfortunately, will be of absolutely no use. If you say split it evenly, it's almost as good as me saying I will not take anything.
Okay.
And this is the reason
Which is
why
I'm asking for your counter offer on the number on the division of fruits.
Okay.
Because
so
as
if
you said,
8,000 is unfair, then I will come down to about maybe 7. I can forego another 1,000 fruits. You can take 3.
Honestly, it's very difficult.
And as I mentioned, I will be willing to pay more for the fruits, and whatever the difference is, that will be relayed over to you. As I understand, you will be losing a certain amount of sales.
Can you just give us a couple of?
Yes, not a problem. just a quick question. This compound, is it in the skin of the fruit or is it in the flesh of the fruit?
I'll have to. Can you just give me a second? I'll have to consult our R&D department for that. Just give me a second. It's from the hard seed of the fruit actually.
It's from the seed?
Yes, it's from the seed of the fruit.
Okay, so I need the flesh.
You need the flesh, we need the seed.
Yes. Can we
Okay.
come to an agreement then?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay,
Great.
so what I'll do is,
Which is exactly what I want. I missed this bit, but when we were asking you about why exactly what is the process for you to actually get the fruit to feed your
Extract the compound, then give it to you, but maybe in the reverse it'll work out better.
all right, so what we'll do is at this point, we'll ask the government to give us the 10,000 and we only need the flesh.
Mhm.
So we will, sorry, your company, where is it located? Where is this?
so we're based out of Singapore.
Singapore?
You?
Okay, so we are in France.
Okay.
Seeds don't expire.
Mhm.
So as soon as we extract the flesh of the fruit, I will be happy to personally ensure that you are delivered the entire amount. 10,000 seeds. We don't need the seeds.
Okay, so let's do this.
What are the final? All right. Sorry.
So
you speak and then-
assuming that there are only two of us in the bidding, there's no third party.
Yeah.
You can bid for the seeds, or you can purchase all the seeds at 4,000 euros.
Yeah.
We-
The fruits, yes.
Yes, per fruit.
Actually, let's. What I was thinking. Just give me another minute. Please.
Alright.
I need to consult my employee. So how about we come to a mutual agreement in which case we split the fruits equally. You extract the flesh from the fruits. I mean,
Mhm.
because we don't want the entire monopoly of to be with one of the companies. We don't want to take the entire batch in the beginning and say that we'll give you the skin, you give us the we keep the seeds, or you keep the fruit and you give us the seeds. If we can. I mean, which part of the fruit is it?
The flesh, the actual fruit
You need the
itself.
actual
Yes.
flesh of the fruit.
Yes.
All right. So then it makes. But then, how will we work the financials of the deal? Then let's come to the financials. Suppose
So-
you say that you take the fruits, you extract the flesh, give us the seeds,
Yes.
which I'm assuming would be the last bit of the fruit left.
Yes.
So then,
you and I will deal directly in
Mhm.
terms of you purchasing that from us directly. I think
Okay.
it's a huge cost saving for you.
of
as
course,
well.
it's for both of us actually.
Right.
To
So,
not get
so if we can go ahead and purchase the fruits directly from the government here at
Mhm.
4,000
Right.
euros,
Mhm.
I will be willing to negotiate a certain price with you directly at whichever price we can then simply hand over the seeds to you obviously at a substantially lower price.
So what will be that price? that you guys are
So
looking
why
at?
don't you tell me what kind of because we're looking at a huge shipment of seeds from France to Singapore.
Mhm.
There are a lot of charges which go along with that. So maybe that's something we can actually negotiate.
Alright, so let's-
comfortably.
There are two ways of doing this. One could be that you buy the entire fruit of
Yes.
10,000, the
Yes.
entire batch, and extract all the flesh, and you send us the seeds.
Yes.
We'll split the cost of your acquisition of 10,000 fruit as well as the logistics 50-50. That's one way of doing it. The other way could be that you purchase half and we purchase half, 5,000 each,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll extract the seeds and send you the flesh, and you can extract the flesh, send us the seeds. It's just that we don't want to be overly dependent on you or any other company for that matter.
I would prefer if we can do the first,
Okay.
your first option.
Okay.
I would prefer that simply because I am quite nervous that since these fruits are firstly going to be shipped from the Amazon to Singapore and then from Singapore to France.
Let's
Okay.
all right.
Chances
I can come up mutually an
But
absolutely.
just to add to that, then that might also be fine. But we'll then need to add like another contract just in case there's some damage to the seed and we don't get the seeds as you would get if you were to purchase the entire fruit So there might need to be some other.
Because for us, synthesizing the seed from the fruit,
Just
that's our R&D team's expertise, and for you guys, extra, it's like we cannot really for sure say that we'll be able to extract the flesh from the fruit for you guys in the way you need it, or similarly, you can't really claim that you'll be able to extract the seed in the exact form. So just to ensure that there's no damage, what we can.
So for us, it's very simple. We just want the bird to eat the fruit.
Okay.
We have no usage of the seed itself.
Yeah, but then we don't.
It's difficult to ensure that the bird does not damage
the
seed.
fruit.
That's the thing.
So that what we can do is that we can put this in a more controlled environment. We can actually extract the seed before giving the fruit to the bird. In which case, we're able to secure the seeds carefully.
Which is exactly why we're saying that if we get the entire batch, for example, we extract the seeds from, because there's no there's no bird element involved, right? It's all in the controlled environment. We extract the seed from it. We ship the entire fruit back to you, and we split the cost equally.
But
both the acquisition costs
as I mentioned, taking the fruit from one place to the second place to the third place damages the fruit. The seed will not get spoiled with time. The perishable part of the fruit is the flesh, which is why we need to get the fruit.
Let's do one thing.
Yes.
Let's do one thing.
Yes.
Okay, so there will be some logistics costs involved of shipping the fruit from Amazon to your warehouse and then from France to Singapore. Let's split the costs equally.
Okay.
All the logistics costs, let's split them equally.
Okay.
Let's split the cost of the fruit, the 4,000 euros, equally.
Okay.
Let's come to an arrangement in which case our team will be present. If you guys are okay with it, our team will be present at your whatever the facility is in order to ensure that the seeds are extracted in the exact way that we guys want to.
Alright, we can.
Alright, so that there's no damage to the fruit.
Yeah.
And we can ensure that the seeds are not damaged at the same time.
Alright.
Let's split the costs equally. That way, we're actually effectively paying half the cost of the actual fruit instead of going to a bidding of 4,000 each and then splitting the fruit equally or in whatever ratio.
Okay.
So let's do that then. Let's come to an arrangement of.
I think we can agree on that.
Alright. So we're gonna. So the purchase is gonna be. How about we purchase the fruit 50 in our 50% you purchase, 50% we purchase, but we agree to ship the fruit to your facilities, and then let's do that actually. That will be a better.
That can be possible.
Because if the only thing that you're worried about is damage to the fruit's flesh of shipping at two different places and then it coming back or anything of such sort, let's ship the entire fruit to your facility.
Okay.
But then if we think. Or let me just think. Actually, if you think about it, in this case, we'll be paying 4,000. Yeah, absolutely. So that's fine. It makes no difference to the cost because we're still paying 4,000 for 10,000 fruits, and then even if you take the entire batch, we take it from your half the cost. It's still the same. So let's do that. Let's ship the fruit to your facility. Half of it will be in your name, half of it in our name.
Okay.
We'll work together to extract the seeds from the fruits first, so that there's no damage to the flesh or to the seeds.
Yeah.
And then you keep the flesh, we keep the seeds.
Okay.
And then we'll split the logistics cost from your facility to our facility.
All the logistics costs will be split equally.
Alright.
This might make more sense because it might raise some eyebrows if we back out of the bidding process.
Exactly.
Like the government is not going to take that very, that would be pretty difficult.
It'll be easier for both of us to save face because, otherwise giving the entire fruit to you and then coming to a secondary deal might cause some problems for us because, as you mentioned, it's not just our company, it's also the government involved and we have a lot of other backing from financial.
Alright, I think we're at an agreement.
Perfect. Great.
Alright.
Sounds good.
Great.
Alright.
Great.
Nice. Good doing business with you.
Good doing business with you.
Perfect.